Thank you so much for joining us today. On behalf of the National Auctioneers Association and the FFA, welcome. My name is Morgan Hobson, and I'm a current member of the National Auctioneers Association and former FFA member. This has been an incredible joint project, and we are extremely excited to share a guide to the Auction Industry SAE with you. For the last few months, the FFA and the NAA have been working extremely hard to determine the best way to introduce this SAE to teachers, especially ag teachers around the country. We've designed this presentation to be educational, and our hope is that by giving an insight into this SAE, teachers like yourselves will want to incorporate this SAE into your program and encourage your students to explore the auction industry. This SAE will give students the opportunity to explore a career in the auction industry and in turn help them gain skills to prepare them for a future career. But before we get started, I'd like to take a brief moment and give you a little history about the auction industry and the National Auctioneers Association. So as you can see, in 500 BC, the first auctions were held in Rome. And in the 1600s, American auctions date back to the Pilgrims' arrival in America. Now in 1906, the first American auction school, the Joneses National School of Auctioneering and Oratory, opened in Davenport, Iowa. And in the 1950s, the modern auction business was born. Now the National Auctioneers Association was founded in 1949. It is the largest professional organization dedicated to auction professionals. The National Auctioneers Association is a membership-based organization, and we currently have around 3,200 members. The NAA represents a range of auction professionals who serve a variety of industries, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. The National Auctioneers Association is the voice of the auction profession and serves auction entrepreneurs with services provided based on the four cornerstones: promotions, advocacy, education, and community. Now, as I mentioned, the NAA represents a range of auction professionals who serve a variety of industries. The NAA has divided auctioneers into 5 communities of practice. Many auctioneers may represent multiple communities of practice, but here's a quick overview of the 5 different categories. Benefit auctioneer. Now, your benefit auctioneers are going to consult with nonprofits, associations, and various organizations to help see them through their fundraising needs. So this might consist of a black tie gala, or might be your local FFA fundraiser. Contract auctioneer. These auctioneers might be a livestock auctioneer, auto auctioneer, or they may sell big iron and equipment. Marketing and management. Now, this community of practice is going to encompass anyone who is on the operational side of the auction business. This could be anyone from your advertising manager, graphic designer, photographer, or even your web developer. Personal and commercial assets auctioneer. These auctioneers may deal with business liquidation or selling family estates. And lastly, real estate auctioneer. Real estate auctioneers may deal with anything from selling homes to large farm and ranch properties, hunting properties, commercial properties, and even luxury real estate. We are represented by 5 major categories, but as I mentioned earlier, many auctioneers may represent multiple communities of practice. Now for what you've all been waiting for. A guide to the Auction Industry SAE. As you can see here, we have 2 separate guides. The Auction Industry SAE Student Guide will help students explore auctioneering as a career and as an SAE. The Auction Industry SAE Teacher Guide will help you to determine how auctioneering content can fit into your curriculum and will explain how to guide students who are interested in an Auction Industry SAE. The Teacher Guide will also provide resources to use in your classroom. Now for the activity overview. This guide is formatted into 3 levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. The levels will guide you through exploring the basics of the auction industry, starting an auction industry SAE, and helping students look to create a plan for a future in the auction industry. Each level will have activities to complete along with connections to the SAE. Activities A1 through A5 will complete the requirements for a foundational SAE. Activity 6 will help your students start an immersion SAE. Now, Activity 1 is going to help develop a knowledge of the auction industry. Activity 2, your student is going to dig a little deeper into the auction industry and see what it takes to be an auctioneer and what employability skills are required to be an auctioneer. Activity 3, they're going to further explore the auction industry. And then Activity 4, your student is actually going to plan an auction and look into workplace safety. Now, activity 5, your student's going to create a business plan. And this is going to be a lesson in personal finance and determining what operational costs might be as an auction professional. And activity 6 is going to go into that immersion SAE, developing a roadmap for the future. Now, you might say, what type of students might be interested in the auction industry? I don't want us to limit which students might fit into the auction industry, and more importantly, we don't want students to limit themselves. Help your students identify what careers they may be interested in by asking them about what they enjoy. Does your student like math? They may be interested in auction bookkeeping or accounting. Is your student interested in technology? They could enjoy running an auction website, working with auction software companies, or running the auction sound system. Is your student an artist? A career as a graphic designer, creating auction ads, may be in their future. Identifying what they already enjoy can help point them in the direction of future careers. They don't have to be behind the mic to be involved in the auction industry. And I think that's really important for us to communicate to our students. For example, when I was younger, I was involved in the FFA. But honestly, I lived in the city and never knew that FFA was an organization that was accessible for me. Now, don't get me wrong, I grew up in a rural community, but I didn't have a farm or ranch to go home to at night, and I thought you needed that to be a member of the FFA, which couldn't be further from the truth. But if it hadn't been for my ag teacher reaching out and saying, hey, I think you would be really good at this, and pulling me into some of the contests and various judging teams I was on, I never would have gotten involved, because I didn't think it was for me. And it wasn't that I didn't have an interest, because I did. I actually really wanted to be in the FFA. I just didn't believe that I had the tools or enough knowledge of agriculture to be a member. And I say all of this because the auction industry has so many avenues for kids to explore. Public speaking, marketing, photography, web design. They don't necessarily have to have a farm or ranch to go home to at night to be involved in this industry. And I think that that's really important because so many of these students can be involved in the auction industry no matter what their interests are or where they live. You don't necessarily have to be behind the mic to be involved, and I think that's really important for us to communicate to these students. Now you may say, I'm not an auctioneer. How can I help? Follow the teacher guide. This teacher guide has everything you need to successfully incorporate the SAE into your classroom. Help your students connect with a local auctioneer. NAA members are just a phone call away, and I promise you they would love the opportunity to help these students. NAA members can also be located at auctioneers.org and can be searched by city and state. Help your students see the opportunity in this SAE. There are various communities of practice and different career paths within the auction industry. Now you may say, well, this is great, but are there additional opportunities for my students to be more involved in the auction industry? Absolutely. The NAA has a student club called NextGen for students between the ages of 10 and 18. NextGen provides students with the opportunity to stay in touch with everything happening within the NAA and network with students around the country. We also have a great learning curriculum called Auction Adventures. The American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture and the National Auctioneers Association, with generous funding from the National Auctioneers Foundation, have launched a new My American Farm game along with supporting resources for 2 separate age groups, 3rd through 5th graders and 5th through 8th graders. The new online game gives students a close look at how auctions work and the many different opportunities within the auctioneering industry. Furthermore, our 3rd through 5th grade audience playing Auction Adventures will have the chance to strengthen their math fluency as they learn about the different kinds of auctions that take place each day. And the 5th through 8th grade lesson plan will help students enhance English language arts skills as they read profiles of real auctioneers, then communicate about the different types of auctions highlighted. In addition, we have 3 lesson plans for middle school students to learn about careers within the auctioneering industry. This is just another way you can incorporate this into your classroom. Now, if you're a high school ag teacher listening to this is a great platform to share with other teachers in your school district that may be in the elementary or middle schools. The Auction Adventures curriculum might also give your high school students a way to interact with the elementary or middle school students by teaching one of the lesson plans, doing the educational auction craft, or even reading through the auction comic book. Now, we also have the International Junior Auctioneer Championship. As you can see, there are 3 students pictured on your screen. On your top left is Shelby Schumann. She's from Eaton, Colorado. Now, Shelby has been an IJAC contestant and is currently an FFA member participating in the Auction Industry SAE. On your bottom right corner is Tice Freegee, who's from Clayton, Indiana, and he is your 2019 International Junior Auctioneer Champion. On your bottom left is Cotton Booker. Now, Cotton's from Colfax, Washington, and not only is he our 2018 IJAC champion, in 2019, Cotton earned the Washington FFA State Star in Agribusiness. In 2020, Cotton earned a Proficiency Award with a National Gold rating for his SAE in Agricultural Auctioneering. Now, I'm going to show you a quick clip of Cotton during the 2018 International Auctioneer Championship. We aren't going to watch his entire run, but I want you to get an idea of the contest.
I don't need 100. Now I get 800, now I get 800. Now in the quarter. On 825, I get 825, then 50. On 850, now I get 8. Now 875. And now 900, down. Now 25, I get 950. On 950, down. Last and final, gonna sell it for now. Get 900,
help him along, ladies and gentlemen. He's gonna get there.
950. 950. 950. You gotta be. On 9 now 975. Now we get 975. Down. Now 975. I think we've made him pay enough. Sold it to you, $950 right there. Bidder number 407, I believe. 407, and thank you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It's going to be a fun year.
A great job by Cotton. Shelby, Tice, and Cotton are examples of 3 exceptional students who are involved in the auction industry. If you have students interested, I highly encourage them to get involved. So now, what are the next steps? How do we get started? Well, the NAA has provided the student and teacher guides online at auctioneers.org under the Students tab, SAE Guides. And like I mentioned before, members of the NAA would love to be a mentor to your students and can be available if any student has questions about the industry or pursuing a career in the auction industry. Now, as you can see, this is a screenshot of auctioneers.org. If you go to the Students tab, you will find all the resources you need for the Next Gen program, SAE Guides, Auction Adventure Game for Kids, Middle School Curriculum, Auction Comic Book, and the Educational Auction Craft. Now, in the top right corner, you can see the banner that says Find an NAA Auction Professional. This is where you will click to search auctioneer by city and state, and you can even search by community of practice. These are a few additional resources for you. myamericanfarm.org, SAE for All, FFA.org, and the AET.com. Now, we haven't mentioned the AET.com yet, but students can go here to develop a profile which will allow them to track their SAE and FFA activities. The AET has helped more than 2 million users nationwide to manage time and financial resources both inside and outside of the classroom. This website simplifies record keeping and is customized based on each student's SAE project. These are all websites with tools you can use to provide additional curriculum for your classroom and additional information about the auction industry and this SAE. Now, this is myamericanfarm.org. Here you will find all of the content you need for lesson plans, activity sheets, games, the e-comics and books, and even videos, where your students can learn about agricultural careers and processes without even leaving your classroom. We hope that you found this presentation both helpful and educational, and that you will encourage your students to explore the opportunities within the auction industry. If you have any questions, please reach out to the National Auctioneers Association. Our contact information can be found at auctioneers.org. Thank you again for joining us today.